Hello and welcome back to Soul Said So. I am your lovely host, the Mystic Mover. On this podcast, it is always my goal to help you get out of your mind and back into your soul. And so, for this week's episode, we are definitely going to be talking about some of the depths of the soul. We're going to be talking about purpose. Now, whether you are still trying to figure out what your purpose is or trying to connect to what you feel is purpose for yourself, or if you are a person who is clear on your purpose and just don't feel that you have fully activated in said purpose. This week's episode is going to be for you because we're going to be talking about purpose and how it unfolds. So, what I've come to learn, and I have lived long enough being a person who is extremely um, in tune with myself. And I've always known that I've been called to do big things and called to do things bigger than myself. I've learned so much about purpose. One thing I will tell you straight off the back about purpose is not always something that you find. My purpose absolutely was something that you couldn't tell me that I would be doing, but through life's experiences and where this journey has brought me up until this point, I found myself having a certain expertise, a certain knowledge, a certain talent, and a certain gift that was not necessarily apparent to me in the earlier stages of my life. So, jumping right into this, is something so different about this phase of my life where I used to be mindlessly living, meaning I was satisfied with very little. For the most part, a lot of my actions were surrounded around survival mode. So just surviving. Let's pay these bills. Let's take care of these kids. Let's go to bed. Okay, let's go do the fun things with the friends. Let's do like doing all of this, but not really having that sense of purpose to where I felt uncomfortable if I was not actively going after purpose or if every day I didn't do something towards my purpose, right? But this season of my life, I'm questioning every decision that I'm making, every role that I play, every action that I'm making more than I ever have. It's like everything that I do right now, it has got to make sense. We do not have room for the craziness. Okay. So it's like tap in, be intentional, and make sure that you're planting the appropriate seeds in this season. A lot about me right now is noticing what's not a good fit for me. That was not always the case. I used to just experience things without, let's see where this goes. But now I ain't, I'm not there. Now I'm more in a space of knowing what I want, assessing what's before me to make sure that this is what I desire and what I need. Listening to my body too, big thing, to know if this is something that I need to pursue or if this is something that feels off within me, right? So I'm into this place of really exploring and learning deeply about myself. And as I'm doing this, I had this moment of vulnerability where I'm not going to lie, I felt so confused about my purpose. And that is actually when we talk about that mind. Gotta observe that those type of thoughts, especially when you know you're called to do something, but because it seems small or it seems as if you're not getting the recognition, when those types of thoughts approach you, you definitely got to get a grasp on them. It is human nature. You are going to experience them. I have experienced them. I have listened to others who have also experienced these same things. And you have to be very careful not to be confused out of your position just because where you are currently does not reflect what you think it should look like, right? In my mind, purpose was always something huge, extravagant, big. That means that not only would I be able to identify it within myself, but others around me would also be able to identify it. And so when I was looking around at all these different elements of my life, I just started to feel so disconnected. I'm like, okay, hold on. What I feel that I have purpose for has not left me, but I'm also noticing how my life, the things that I can physically see are not correlating to what that purpose is. And now parts of that, I will be honest and say, was that my perspective and of how I was looking at things had to change. Because the way that we expect to experience purpose in our life is not going to always be the way that purpose is revealed to us. So there was a lot of confusion that was going on in my mind because I'm thinking about past times where I just felt like, okay, I was a little more happy here. I was a little more, social in this time. And I also had to understand that you were also a little more comfortable. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is purpose is first and foremost is going to be revealed in steps. And what I've come to learn is that those steps will pull you out of your comfort zone. It will make you think that you have stepped into the wrong place, in the wrong space. Nothing's going to feel the same. Everything's going to feel chaotic and different. But this is what happens when purpose is starting to reveal something new to you. Just because you feel disconnected does not always mean that you are on the wrong path. Now, especially when you know that you are actively doing certain things in your life that are in alignment with what it is that you need to be doing, right? So we can't confuse how the Bible says don't get weary in well doing. We can't confuse our well doing with the disconnection that it may also cause because we are shifting into a completely different identity. And in shifting into a new identity, you're also learning. And in shifting into a new identity, you're also learning so much about your old identity that you were not aware of because you were actively being that person. And you're also shifting into a new identity, meaning some of that old identity is falling away. And it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel confusing. It's going to feel as if you do not have a grip on it, but you're not supposed to because the whole process of this thing is that you are going to release it. So when we say that purpose is revealed in steps, here's what I learned. How your purpose plays out and shows up to you. I used to always think that it would always happen all at once. Like purpose was just going to fall out the sky, fall in my lap and say, here, this is yours, work with this. No, purpose is revealed to you in steps. If you can think about where you are today, what you're doing, who you are associating yourselves with, where you are, the environments, everything about you is not the same as last year. And even if your environment is the same, or like your family and everybody, close, intimate people around you are the same, you can also mentally look at yourself, emotionally look at yourself, and notice certain aspects of growth. And what is happening in these moments, or what point I'm trying to make with this, is there was a little bit of your purpose that was revealed to you last year. And there's going to be some that's going to be revealed to you this year. There's some that's going to be revealed to you next year. And with each one of these steps, it's all making sense. But it's not going to make sense to you in one lump sum. Because before I can fully give you your purpose wholeheartedly for you to walk into it, you have to be able to hold it. Meaning you have to be the person who identifies with that purpose in a way that they're able to steward it well. And while we may think that we are ready and we are capable to be able to do certain things in our purpose, that's not always true. There's some levels of development that has to take place from an emotional standpoint, mental standpoint, physical standpoint, financial standpoint. There is so much to learn. I think about my life as an adult. There was if an adult would have told me when I was a child certain ways to be an adult, it would have went over my head. I wouldn't have understood it because there are some things in life that you can only learn and understand through experience. And so while we could say we wish we would have known some things, you wouldn't truly comprehend those things without having the firsthand experience. And the way that life works is it presents you with different experiences in order for you to get to learn about yourself through that experience. And through all of that learning, you are developing. And depend on how you handle those experiences, because you may fail and that don't make you a bad person. That don't make you unworthy. None of that. It just means that now you have an awareness that you have a weakness. And we have to strengthen that before you start to really walk into certain rooms, into certain spaces, until you start holding a certain capacity, right? So your purpose and how it looks will change, and it will start to make more sense to you as the things around us start to change. There are certain mind blocks that each of us carry that we may not be aware of because we've been carrying them for 20 plus years. And if you've been carrying something for that long, you can only imagine how hard it is to release it, to be able to look at something completely different, to develop different habits around it, to develop different language around it. There is a lot that comes with shifting and changing, and it can't happen overnight. It does have to happen in steps. And so if you are a person who is confused about your purpose, worrying about your purpose, or wishing to understand your purpose more, understand that it is being revealed to you in steps that you may not necessarily be aware of right now because you're in the process of stepping. Okay? There is a very big misconception that purpose happens all at once. That's not true. That's not true. When you see someone say, oh, I want to own a bank. And at that time, there's no way that you can understand how in the world they will own a bank. And then time passes, and then you see them owning that bank. That is because there was a sum of different things that had to occur to take place in that person's path, in that person's life, in order for them to be able to display their purpose. Or I'm not saying owning the bank. I mean, it could be. It could be. Owning the bank could be somebody's purpose, okay? But you get what I'm saying. We don't see the steps in between. We don't see the times when they cried, when they hurt. We don't get to see the times, how many times they were told no before they even got a yes. Okay? But there is a level of experiences and actions that we have to go through that equals out to us starting to really understand purpose. And then once you get the purpose, that ain't the end of it. Because then it starts to unfold. This is the core of your purpose, whatever that is. And because of that purpose, it starts to now attract different things to you. So now you're thinking, oh, I just want to live in my purpose. I just want to experience the passion of being connected to my purpose, not knowing that your purpose is going to be not just about you, but it's going to be about other people as well. How you manage those people, how you navigate to those people, how those people interact with you, how the interaction with those people make you feel, think, and look at yourself. It's a lot of different things that purpose also brings outside of just standing in the purpose. Your purpose could cause your finances to increase. Now you need to be able to understand money management. Your purpose could place you in front of millions of people. Now you have to know how to carry yourself, how to be under a microscope at all times. Like there's so many different things that you walking in your purpose can bring to you that you are not aware of. And that's the reason why you are placed in certain experiences to be able to be developed for what said purpose is actually going to really do to you. So I think about making a meal. My favorite thing to do is cooking. The purpose is to make a cake. However, I have all of the ingredients to make the cake. And unless I do the actions and go through the steps to get this cake formulated, one, it's not going to bake because we're not going to have anything to put in the oven. And two, I won't see the fruition of the purpose or what it is that I'm desiring until I've done the appropriate steps. So I want to give you some journal prompts to connect with yourself for this week. Why? Because it's not that you don't have purpose, and it's not that you're searching for purpose. Purpose is always searching for you, first and foremost. It's not that you're ignorant of it, but if you are ready to step into certain or a new level in your life, you have to first have clarity around your current space, around you in your present tense. So the first journal prompt, I want you to write, and you need to write this now. Sitting up here thinking about it and all that, that's cute. But when you actually have a conversation with yourself and exchange words with yourself, oh, it do something for you, because I've been doing these journal prompts too. And when I tell you, I have had this sense of clarity, understanding. I've been more calm. I've been more grounded, simply because me and self got an understanding. I come into the recognition. I come into the realization that there were some things that I have to work on. And the way that I am working through these things is making sure that we first understand what those things are. Okay, but I ain't gonna preach. Okay. But the first journal prompt is, I want you to ask yourself, what keeps returning to my spirit? What is the one thing that you go to bed thinking about, you wake up thinking about, you see things throughout the day and it reminds you of that thing? What is that? What is it? What keeps returning to your spirit? For your next journal prompt, what part of my purpose is already happening, even if it doesn't look like what I imagined? And even with this journal prompt, if you do not know what your purpose is, where are people asking for you, your expertise? And I don't mean using you. I mean, where are people coming to you for guidance, for nurturing, for reassurance, for empowerment? Where do people come to you in those places? What value do people ask of you? And lastly, what steps am I already taking that support my path? And I'll take it a step higher and say, what steps am I already taking that are supporting my obedience to my purpose? Because you're doing something, or else you wouldn't identify with it being purpose. You know? What is that? What steps are you taking already that support your path? It could be small. It don't have to be nothing big. It could be small. Matter of fact, I prefer it to be small. But until next week, really focus in on those journal prompts. Really connect back to your spirit. Purpose is happening every single day, regardless of if you are aware of it or not. You are attracting and aligning to something. And I want to make sure that you do not miss an opportunity to grow, to develop, and to become the very best version of yourself in order for you to see to the fruition of everything that you were called to be. So until next week, I will see you guys Wednesday, 11 a.m.